This is going to be an IMR scary. So this is a lengthy video. So this is an IMR Scary Tales video. This was probably uploaded like freaking 3 months ago at this point, or maybe 4, who knows anymore. Scary doll and vacation with family. I mean, family can be a horror story in general, just depending on who your family is. So that could be a horror story in itself already. But anyway, scary doll or something? Yeah, scary dolls. Dolls are just creepy, to be honest. Like any kind of dolls I see is just kind of like, kind of sus, kind of a bit creepy. So I definitely feel that. Scary dolls, not my thing. I mean, dolls are my thing in general, obviously, but yeah. This video is almost 24 minutes long, so let's get into this video.
Weird things started happening to me about a year ago. I moved into a new unit in Brisbane and got my porcelain dolls back from my mother's place.
Those are all sus.
I've had the dolls since I was 5 years old.
That's so creepy.
Everyone used to tell me they were evil, but I didn't believe them.
Clearly they're evil. They look evil.
Anyway, I put the 7 dolls away in a box and left them in the spare room. I then began having nightmares, starting with 1 or 2 a week. After a little while, they started to occur almost every night.
Because the damn dolls, man. Get rid of them. Burn them.
I've experienced nightmares like this in my entire life. These were full-on extreme night terrors. I didn't understand what was going on and was exhausted all the time from lack of sleep. I then started hearing some kind of scratching noise coming from inside the closet.
That's even more sus. It's probably a haunted-ass doll in there.
My room late at night. Never during the day.
Where's the fucking curtain, man?
At the time, I thought it might be a mouse.
A mouse?
These things happen.
You think a mouse is gonna shake your whole damn cabinet?
One time, I was sitting in the lounge room, watching TV, when all of a sudden I saw 2 small red eyes on the side of my cat's body.
Oh, that is
sus. He was standing on my lap.
That is sus.
They were just staring at me. I looked behind me to see where it was coming from, and saw nothing but a blank wall. I looked back, and the eyes were still looking at me. Then they slowly faded away.
Creepy.
I always felt a strange, uncomfortable presence in the house, but I wasn't sure if it was because I had just moved in on my own.
And my cat is still here too.
Or if it was something else. I think I used to make excuses for everything.
Can you see her?
So I didn't think I was going crazy.
You are going crazy. Well, it's because you're stupid dolls, man.
I was lying in bed and had the outside hall light up when I saw a murky, dark shadow come across the ceiling and into my room.
If I ever imagine any of this, I'll probably crap myself.
The last thing that happened before I spoke to someone about the weird events was when I saw a demonic-looking face in the reflection of the base.
It's a doll, man.
It was staring at me. The thing had dark circles as eyes.
Like, would you not think of your evil-ass dolls in the other room? Like, you have like 7 evil-ass sus-ass dolls. Like, you wouldn't even think of that?
I turned off the light and ignored it.
Really?
Went back to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
I eventually spoke to a lady at work, a Jehovah's Witness, about everything that happened. She told me that I had something in my house that was causing the problems.
Yes, clearly. There you go.
It was the dolls at the time.
Finally.
But I ended up throwing them out in the industrial bin that weekend because something needed to happen to make this stop.
It's about fucking time.
The dolls were worth hundreds of dollars, but I wasn't risking it.
Well, sell them then, or just get the money back or something.
I had an extreme nightmare about them. The dolls were at my nan's house, where they had been originally, and they had killed my cat. In the dream, I found his body in the kitchen sink. My cat is still alive now, but I always check on him to make sure he's safe.
Right?
It's been over 9 months now, and since getting rid of the dolls, I've had no nightmares.
See, there you go.
No weird noises, and no feelings of another presence.
There you go. That's all you have to do is get those stupid dolls.
Healthier, and I always pray from time to time, asking the Lord to protect me and my cat. Everything stopped after I threw out those dolls.
Well, there you go.
Now I know not to ignore things and to become more in touch with my spiritual side.
That's all you have to do, Jesus, man. Like, how hard is that? Like, I like freaking bunch of sus-ass dolls and then you don't even think, oh, is this why? Haunted Doll Story 2? Oh my god. Stupid dolls, man.
My niece got a little doll as a gift last year.
Sus.
It was from a family member who has a not-so-good reputation with us.
The fuck?
This person has tried to use local witchcraft stuff towards my family in the past. Not that I believe in it much.
And she gave you a doll and you're gonna take it?
Family,
oh my god,
so my sister accepted it, and we took the doll
home. That looks sus too! All these dolls
Everything
look
was
angry
fine
and
before
pissed.
in that house.
Like, what do you...
My
Oh
bedroom
God.
is located next to the living room,
Okay.
while the others are a bit farther away, crossing the living room and the hallway. I only come for the holidays, and I had been there for a week. Everything was normal. I get to hear a lot of noise coming from the upper floor. We have a dog there. And from the neighbors, because my room
It's
is
fair if you
directly
think the
above
noise
their
is the dog,
backyard.
depending on what the noise is. That's fair.
The night we brought
That
the
is
dog,
sus.
everything was quiet, because it was the day after New Year's. Everybody was
like,
sleeping after the
It's
celebrations.
pissed. It's
I was
pissed.
on my laptop talking to some friends. Suddenly, I hear footsteps right outside my bedroom. It didn't bother me, because it could have been my sister's husband. They were heavy footsteps, like boots or men's shoes.
No, so it's not their dog then.
It sounded like they were crossing the hallway, then the living room, and finished on the kitchen. Immediately, I heard the water on the kitchen sink running, and the sound of dishes being washed. It was odd because it was 1:15 a.m., but it could have been someone washing the baby bottles.
At 1:15
I
a.m.
kept
still?
on listening. After 5 minutes, I heard my niece's playground being dragged from the hallway where it was kept to the living room. It does a very distinctive noise, and I'm 100% sure it was what I heard.
It's a stupid doll, man.
The noise kept going for a good 10 minutes or so.
I hate dolls.
I wrote my sister to find out if everything was fine, but got no response. After that, I kept hearing these footsteps. My dog was very nervous and barked at me when I tried to open the door to check out what was happening, so I just stayed in the room. I checked the time at this
It's like the dog is warning you, saying, don't
It
open
was
that door, bitch.
1:43 a.m., and the sounds were still going, until they suddenly stopped. I went to sleep,
I would not be
trying
able to
not
go
to
to
think
sleep.
too hard about it.
I would not be able to sleep at all.
The next morning,
Be terrified.
my sister calls me on the phone and tells me to get out of my room. I did. I went to the hallway, and my mom, sister, and her husband were all there.
Okay.
My sister asked me if I had put my niece's stroller in front of her bedroom door, and if I had moved the playground station.
No.
I said no and told them about all the noises I had heard last night. I thought they weren't going to believe me, but it turns out that when my sister came out of her bedroom in the morning, she found the stroller moved. She put it in the right place and went to go get the baby bottles, then moved back to the room. After that, her husband got out to drink some water and found the stroller again in front of the door. He moved it back to where it was supposed to be, and on his way back, asked my sister why she had put her stroller in front of the bedroom door. They noticed there was something very weird about the situation.
It's the fucking
Saw
doll.
my text from last night, and decided to call me. We started to freak out
That
a
is
bit,
hot, man.
and when I
Wait.
randomly grabbed the doll that was on the stroller, I noticed a strong smell emanating from it, like dry saliva.
Ew.
It was nauseating. It wasn't there the night before, and nobody had touched the thing. It was still in the gift bag. My sister's husband got scared about that fact and decided to throw away the doll.
It's about time.
That night, everything was calm again.
There you go. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh. Fucking bitch. I knew someone was coming. Fuck you. Sorry, excuse my French, but frig you. Okay, stop it. Scares me again, assholes. Haunted Doll 3. Oh my goodness.
I swear up and down that this story, as much as it sounds like it's a made-up run-of-the-mill scary doll story,
Probably
is
is.
100% true.
Yeah, okay.
And it still terrifies me.
Uh-huh.
When I was a kid, I would spend a lot of time in Texas with my brother, dad, and stepmom.
Okay.
Mainly just my brother and stepmom, because my dad was in the military, and would frequently go on long trips, leaving us alone in whatever house we happened to be living in at the time. When I was about 5, we moved to a large, very old Victorian house. 3 stories, not including the attic and the basement.
Oh my god,
Lots
is
of
there
rooms, and as a little kid, I found it very fun to explore the house.
Swear to God, if the attic is
In
full of
the attic,
dolls.
there was lots of old junk that the owner of the house was storing while we
There's,
were
like, dolls
renting
everywhere.
it, including a huge collection of beautiful handcrafted porcelain dolls. There were hundreds of them lined up neatly on the
Hundreds.
back wall in a glass case, standing on their stands like an army ready for command.
Oh my god.
And as a little girl who loved ribbons and bows and anything girly, I was entranced. One doll in particular stood out to me. A beautiful red-haired, green-eyed doll
Like,
in a
at
blue silk
least she
dress
looks normal.
with a
Just the
matching
green eyes are a
ribbon
bit
in her hair.
sus.
I begged my dad to
But
let
at
me
least
play
she
with
looks
her.
not like pissed or
I
something.
felt
Or
the
doesn't
need to
bitch
hold
face.
and love her and have tea parties with her. He, of course, refused, saying that the dolls were worth more than I could imagine, and he wanted his deposit back when we moved. He kept the door locked for good measure, after catching me more than once staring in awe at the doll. A month went by, and I had all but forgotten about the doll, choosing to simply
Dolls,
explore
though?
the house
Or
and
just
play
that
in
one
my
doll?
basement room with my Barbies.
Oh, there's another.
Until one day, when I came home from dropping my dad off at the base, and found the red-haired doll sitting on my bed. I was ecstatic, thinking that my dad had given me the doll, and left it
No.
as a surprise,
Yeah,
and I
okay.
proceeded to play with the doll every second of
That's okay,
every
it's a-
day
it's a
until my
sus-
dad came home. As soon as my dad saw the doll, he flipped out and yelled at me, spanked me, and took the doll away to lock back up in the attic, and only got more aggravated when he discovered that the attic door was still locked, and her was the only one to have the key. He couldn't figure out how I could have possibly picked the lock, and then re-picked it to lock it. His solution was I had somehow convinced my brother to do it for me. Another month went by, and my dad installed another lock on the
Another
attic,
lock.
warning me and my brother what would happen if he found out we had been in the attic again while he was
I
gone.
didn't do anything.
That very night, when we returned home, the doll sat on my bed again, leaving me wary of its presence. Something that had once made me so happy now made me cautious and anxious.
Burn it.
I told my stepmom, who immediately became angry and slapped me, then my brother, and tried to return the doll, only to find the attic door once again locked. She tore the house apart, trying to find the keys. She was positive we had hidden them, until giving up and locking the doll in her room. The night my dad came home, I was terrified, and he wouldn't speak to me or my brother at all,
Like, we're not doing
only
anything.
giving a short speech about how
Why
we
do you
needed to go to our rooms and not come out.
Then why do you not have
The
curtains?
next trip he made, we didn't see him off to the base. We sat in our rooms and had a quiet evening alone. I spent the night sulking and trying to figure out how the doll had gotten into my room. Later, after I had fallen asleep, I heard soft music box music that slowly woke me up. I felt something near my feet, and thinking it was my cat curled up, I reached down, only to find instead of fur, a handful of hair.
No.
I turned my light on and screamed. What looked like every dollar
Please
from their
don't.
attic was in my room,
Please don't.
sitting at my tea table, on my dollhouse,
Don't do this right
and
now. Please
positioned in
don't.
standing position on my bed, and in various parts of my room.
I would literally
The
shit
door
myself.
slammed open, and my dad appeared in the doorway
Oh,
where
no.
he had apparently been waiting for me to head to the attic to claim a doll. He took one look at them, grabbed me, and ran out of the house, dragging my brother and stepmom along with us. He refuses to speak of them to this day. The most important part of the story is the backstory of the red-haired doll. Apparently, the original builder and owner of the house had a daughter who died when she was about 8.
There you
And
go.
it was customary to make a doll of their likeness,
There
made
you
out
go.
of
That's
their
why
real
it's haunted.
hair,
That's
and
why.
dressed in the same clothes the child wore.
That's why it's haunted.
I think it was that little girl, because I never felt like it was dangerous to play with the doll. I felt like she was lonely, and trying to make a friend.
So you actually woke up to a bunch of dolls in the room, I would fucking go ape shit. I'd never sleep in that room again.
Growing up in a working-class Latino family, we didn't have the luxury of taking lavish vacations throughout the year. However, that didn't stop us from exploring the natural wonders of Southern California through camping. At a young age, my sister and I understood the value of camping through our shared respect for Mother Nature. Over time, we mastered surviving in the outdoors, so much so that we desired to explore new campgrounds throughout the state.
Okay.
On one such occasion, a coworker of my father overheard him talking about his summer vacation plans and suggested to him a new campground to check out. To this day, my parents nor I are unable to remember the name of the campsite, yet we all agree that it was somewhere in the hills of San Diego County. My father was excited for the prospect of visiting a new national park and packed up the car for the customary family summer retreat. The drive up to the campsite was long and dangerous. Even though we were driving during the day, the steepness of the mountain, coupled with the numerous blind turns, had everyone sitting on the edge of their seats. Arguments soon erupted amongst us, as we didn't find any signs indicating where to go. This was in the age before smartphones and GPS. Eventually, we convinced our father to stop and ask for directions. As the campground came into view, we all let out a collective sigh of relief.
It's not weird. Like,
We
imagine
made
having
it.
to ask someone for directions
And
because you don't
yet,
have a cell phone or
the
something.
place did not look like it
It's
was
so
a
weird to think
national
about
park
that
at
now, you know,
all.
with phones and
There
stuff
wasn't a
and GPS.
ranger station or a welcome center anywhere in sight.
Sus.
The lake appeared murky like a bog,
More
whereas
sus.
the campground itself was devoid of life.
That's
A
even more
proverbial
sus.
ghost town,
That's even more
with the
sus.
only inhabitants being us.
And why are you going there?
With our bewilderment aside, we cautiously surveyed the area,
It's like, go home.
finding any clues that will guide us to the keeper of this place. Out in the distance, we saw a crumbling open sign dangling in the window of a dilapidated diner. Just as the sign implied, we entered the establishment to inquire about the place. Pushing the creaking door open, we were greeted by the owner of the diner,
There's some guys just
a
like
gaunt-looking
saying that.
man who I would now say was plucked straight out of the
What's he
movie
covered in?
The
Blue
Hills
stuff?
Have Eyes. Well, how can I help y'all folks
Oh,
on this
God.
fine day?
No,
My dad replied,
Sounds kind of sus.
"We made reservations to camp here, but I'm not sure if this is the right place." We then handed the man our booking papers for him to inspect. With his bony fingers grasping the pages, he replied, Yeah, you have the right place. I'm the groundskeeper of this here national park. Let me finish some paperwork on my end, and I'll get things ready for you and your family to stay here with us." As he wobbled off to the back of the diner, my sister and I
sus.
retreated to the safety of our car. Although we were children at the time, we both felt a sense of unease, even dread at the thought of spending the night here.
Right?
Despite our worries, our parents reassured us that the vacation had only just begun,
Oh,
albeit
God.
with a few bumps along the way.
Vacation.
As we neared the site, all of our concerns were tossed out the window, as it was time to transform this empty lot into our secure encampment. The rest of the day came and went, as our campsite was beginning to take shape. The sounds of our radio, along with the rhythmic banging of the hammer, were the only echoes greeting us as the sun began to set. This detail stood out to me, due to the fact it was early July here in Southern California, and there are always people camping around this time. In either case, we all just brushed
So
it
the fact
aside
that- stop
and
brushing
thought
shit
that more
aside.
people would arrive by tomorrow.
Oh my god, don't
And they
assume.
did. On the following day of the trip, my father went fishing at the lake. While he was off on his own adventure, my sister and I decided that it was time to have one of our own. Recruiting the aid of our mother, we set out to explore the campgrounds. To our surprise and elation, we discovered that this campground had its own public swimming pool. With our minds made
That's
up,
fun.
the three of us got into our bathing suits, slathered on the sunscreen, and made our way to the pool. Soon my
Oh, that
sister and
sounds
I
fun.
were splashing around in the water without a care in the world, until I noticed three suspicious men,
Oh god.
dressed entirely in black.
And look
They
at the
came and
same.
sat at one of the chairs at the opposite end of the pool from where our mother was watching us. At first, I thought the men were new campers that had recently arrived
Clearly
at the grounds
not.
to examine the swimming pool.
Yeah, okay.
But to my dismay, the men just huddled around each other and whispered incomprehensible things while staring intently at the two of us. My mother's instincts caught on to the predatory behavior, and she decided to cut our excursion to the swimming pool short. When my father arrived from the lake, he said he was unable to catch any fish, and that the fish he did find were all belly up dead in the water. My mother then informed my father of the three suspicious-looking men eyeing my sister and I at the pool. This infuriated him. My father, brandishing his
down with a
machete,
knife.
stormed
He's
out
like,
in
I'm ready
search
for
of a
this.
group of
I'm
men,
ready to kill these people.
ostensibly to talk some sense into them.
More like stab some
Some
sense
time
into them.
passed, and my father arrived back at the campsite, dismayed that he did not find the men, only a mother and her two little boys. This point may sound insignificant at first, but it will become important later in the story.
Oh, and then a mother and two little boys. Okay.
As night fell, my sister and I were preparing to
I
go to
was
sleep
kind of wondering. I thought it was two
when
girls
we were
left in the
suddenly
family.
jolted awake by the pleading screams of a woman.
It's the one I just...
Her pleas were joined by the cries of two young children, and various male voices demanding their silence.
There it is.
My father recognized the woman's voice as the mother he saw earlier in the day camping alone with her 2 kids.
Yep.
My father, who is a former
Where's
Marine,
that, Max?
loaded
No.
his rifle and
Oh, a
concealed
rifle.
his hunting knife.
Oh, damn.
He then proceeded to tell my mother to take care of us while handing her a loaded gun. I then saw my father head out towards the campsite
Yeah,
where the
Damian's
single
dad,
mother
eh?
and her children were staying.
He's great.
My sister and I were petrified when we noticed the terror-stricken look on our mother's face. As the yelling escalated, 2 thunderous bangs from the rifle rang out.
Who got shot?
Which put an end to the chaos. Seconds later, we heard the crackling branches closing in as someone moved quickly towards us. My mother, with eyes wide and knuckles clenched, aimed into the darkness, ready to protect us at all costs.
Just don't shoot the dad, please.
To our relief,
Okay.
my father emerged from the shadows with a fearful mother and her 2 sobbing
Oh, thank
children.
God.
My father then claimed that he scared off the men who were harassing us at the
Oh,
pool
with the shots.
and will be helping the mother pack her things to leave.
I thought the 2 kids got
To
shot at the
ensure
mom,
that
and I
they
was
made
like,
their way down the mountain safely, my father offered to follow her in our car until she got to the main highway.
yes.
In a moment of reprieve, the woman held her children tight. We all assured her that their safety was of the utmost importance, and knowing my father, any form of aggression needs to be handled quickly. With pleasantries aside, my father departed yet again to help the mother pack up her campsite and leave this backwater excuse for a national park. The few rays of sunlight that streamed into our tent signaled the start of a new day, since our father had left to escort the small family from the imminent danger.
Okay.
With a look of apprehension on my mother's face, my sister and I started to pack up camp, knowing all too well that we did not want to risk our lives spending another night at this place.
Don't do it.
I was making my way to the bathrooms when my eye caught the glimpse of our car slowly making its way back to camp. I ran back to tell my mother and sister, who noticed the car as well. And soon the bloodshot eyes of my father behind the wheel came into view.
Oh, he's tired, yeah.
As he exited the car, he informed us that the mother and her children made it safely to the highway. This was then followed by a long pause, with my father saying, "Now let's get the hell out of here ourselves." With that, we all took our positions and packed up the rest of our camping gear. Before leaving this godforsaken place, my father informed the owner of the diner about what happened last night,
Oh,
and
he
about
probably
the
knows
3
about it.
suspicious-looking men.
I forgot about him. He probably knows about
The
it.
only thing that the emaciated-looking man said was, "Well, it's a damn shame that you and your family can't stay here a little longer." We then hightailed it out of there
he's the
like
one
bats
that-
out of hell,
Yeah, what the fuck?
vowing never to return.
Jesus.
Ever since
Well,
this
y'all
harrowing
leaving, right?
experience,
Like, the fuck?
my family and I have been unable to get my sister to go camping again. As
I don't
time
like
went
camping.
on,
Camping's sus to
I
me.
decided to ask my father where he had heard about that awful place, to which he
Yeah,
added
true.
a new detail not previously disclosed. He mentioned that upon returning to work, he wanted to confront his coworker about the horrible camping recommendation he gave.
Oh.
When he tried to locate him, another coworker stated that the same man quit a couple of days before my father was going to return from vacation.
Sus.
My father was left speechless and confused upon hearing this. Was the man
That's-
somehow connected to those 3
Yes.
men?
Probably.
If
That's
so,
sus as hell.
What were their motives for harassing a family out in the middle of
Probably
nowhere?
wanted to rape the kids or something.
The answers to these questions
Or
we
kill
will
them.
never know. But what I do know is this. If my father did not intervene on that fateful night, that single mother and her kids would have met a fate far worse than a failed camping trip.
That's honestly crazy. I'm really glad everybody ended up okay. That is a hero by all means. I'm definitely really glad that he was able to basically protect everybody. Definitely a great dad. I love how he wanted to kill the 3 men essentially with that knife. I mean, obviously he has to bring a weapon if there's 3 guys, right? But yeah, definitely a really good dad. Definitely really protective and really good. He was able to save basically everybody that night. So without him, who knows what would have happened that night? Jesus. But yeah, so obviously I feel like the camping recommendation was obviously by a sus guy who probably was connected to 2 to 3 men. The guy inside the open sign, well y'all like, oh well y'all, or it's a shame y'all leaving already. Like fuck out of here. What do you mean it's a shame y'all leaving already? You're probably freaking part of those sus ass 3 men. Fuck out of here. Like he was definitely part of that. I don't even care. No one even at me right now. That guy was part of it 100%. Like oh it's a shame y'all can't stay longer. Why the hell would we stay longer? Like that he easily exposed himself. Like why the hell would we stay longer? You would want to leave too if you were normal. Like hearing shit like that, then you would probably want to leave too. But because you didn't, and because you wanted them to stay, even on top of all that shit, just shows you're sus, and that just shows that you were part of that sus ass shit. You know what I mean? Like what? Oh god, some people are just stupid. So stupid. That's gonna be it for this video though. Please be sure to subscribe if you're new. Be sure to comment down below any thoughts you had on this video, any comments you have, any thoughts you have on this video, any comments. Again, no more suggestions. I'm just gonna put suggestions on pause for now. So any suggestions that are still posted, I'm probably gonna ignore them. Just because again, I don't have time for that right now. Like I honestly don't. I have so many videos to react to. It's not even funny. I probably have like 300 videos now to react to, so it's a lot of videos. And again, I'm never gonna be fully caught up because I'll probably literally have to film 20 videos a day, every day for like a month to probably catch up. So not even, probably longer than that too. So yeah, it would take me a while to actually fully catch up, which is probably never gonna happen. So that being said, please be sure to subscribe, like this video. I really hope that you guys are glad that I'm back. I miss being back myself. Seeing stories coming up, I'm like, oh, I want to watch this right now, but I don't really want to record it because I'm too lazy and stuff, but I waited and stuff, so now here I am reacting to a bunch of videos. So, that being said, thank you guys for watching, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in this video. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.